So here we go. And away we go. Okay, so the ARPANET adopted the transfer protocol January 1st, 1983. And by the way, ARPANET, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's what they call the communications network for defense, etc. in the Terminator 2. Well, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Send me an email. Tim Berners-Lee was credited with inventing the World Wide Web. First banner ad, 1994. So advertising starts to show up on the website of Wired magazine, which was in its day a very cool magazine. Beautiful paper, very interesting graphics, a lot of new things. It was a magazine with a website. Condé Nast bought it some time ago. 1995, 16 million users. Oh my gosh. Yahoo launched in 1998, and Yahoo was huge. Yahoo was called a portal, and Yahoo was a search engine, and it was big for a while. Google coming along in 2000. Never forget my friend Alan Forget telling me, why don't you Google it? I'm like, what is that? Because I'd been using Yahoo for search. Well, he told me. Okay, 558 million users. Facebook launching in 2004. YouTube in 2005. Quickly purchased by Google, which is what big, giant companies can do when they see something interesting. Twitter being launched, still its own company. And then we see the steadily increasing number of users in the US. Now, we always like to take an international perspective, as you know, in our classes here at FIT, because it's a big world you guys are going to be working in when you get out and start your serious careers. So the reason why you're getting a degree here. So this is 2017 question mark in millions. This is absolute number of online users. It's not penetration. So please understand, penetration is taking the number of users and dividing into it the number of people or adults in the country. And that would actually tell you, even though China has a huge and the most users, as does India, they don't have the highest penetration because the populations in both of those countries are darn big. But there you go in terms of numbers of users in the millions. And this now gives us a better feeling for penetration. This is of January 2019. So North America, 95%. Central America, 63% of the population uses the internet. In the Caribbean, 51%. South America, 73%. Middle Africa, 12%. Okay. Eastern Asia, including China, 60%. So you see that Northern Europe, 95%, Western Europe, 94%. So you see there is quite a variance in terms of penetration of the internet in different parts of the world. And what would you folks guess would be the main reason for differences in penetration? Anybody out there? Raise your hand. And now I want to get to really the same issue, but here in the United States. And I think I touched on this already a little bit, and this is something that is, the knob is being turned way up on this because of what we're going through now with all the schooling at home, particularly for the younger children, the grade school children, the middle school children, high school children. According to the FCC, broadband is not available to 24.7 million people, and that's probably true. And 25 megabytes per second to 20 to 3 megabytes. Now, it's probably available, but the question is, are people using it? Now, what Microsoft indicates is that there are a lot of people who don't use the internet at broadband speeds. And the places with the highest unemployment correlate with the lowest broadband usage and broadband access. And this is an example of a multivariate analysis. This is particularly for my direct marketing classes, where we've studied multivariate analysis, where the dependent variable is broadband usage, and the independent variables are things like unemployment and income and health and education level and who knows what. Particulate concentration in the air could be a lot of things. And so this shows counties with the highest unemployment rate have lower broadband usage, according to Microsoft. And this just shows broadband usage by state. The dark blue has a lot of broadband usage, and the lighter blue it gets, the less broadband usage you see. Okay, so down south there you see quite a bad level of usage in that one state there. Is that Mississippi or Alabama? I can never keep them straight down there. Or Louisiana. I think it might be, I don't know what the hell it is. Anyway, sorry everybody, don't mean to offend anyone. I just get a little confused with the southern states sometimes. It's my bad. So that gives us an overview, kind of internet's all over the place, but there's a variance in terms of usage and speed and things like that by country and even within countries, right? Correlating probably mostly with income and things like that, I would think. Now, in terms of the history of the internet, these were some of the early movers and shakers in the internet. America Online was huge. It started in the age of dial-up. They had a lot of money to spend. They got a lot of people online. You could put a disk in that they would give you for free in your computer to get online on a dial-up connection. And America Online was like the biggest portal for a while. This would have been in the late 90s, mid-late 90s, up to early 2000s. Yahoo we talked about. Excite was another search engine, by the way, competitor to Yahoo. MySpace.com, one of the first social networks to come out, purchased by News Corporation. Microsoft Network, and then Ask Jeeves, by the way, was another search engine. Eventually turned into Ask.com, and they tried to keep it going for a while there. It's owned by a guy named Barry Diller, who bought up a bunch of different internet companies and put them under an umbrella. And his office is on the West Side Highway, right across from the Chelsea Piers. He's got a great Frank Gehry designed office building. Is it the Internet Media Corporation? I forget the name of his company. Something like that. Again, I'm sorry, my bad. Well, where are these companies now? Don't we all like the where are they now clickbait we see in all these sites, where you can see these young celebrities and you wonder what the heck they look like now, and you're kind of hoping they're fat and sloppy, but fortunately this guy isn't. So where are they now? Well, MySpace.com, gone. Excite, gone. Ask Jeeves, gone. And America Online and Yahoo. Not much of anything anymore. Been bought and purchased and just got bypassed by people with better technology, faster movers. Number of websites, 64 million to 1.8 billion plus in 2020. Websites stored on, with the content stored on all these data storage places. This shows, this is a cool one. This is like worldwide. These are the largest internet companies worldwide based on monthly visits. And this is really pretty cool. So you see the monster there, Google and Facebook, Baidu, of course, in China. It tells you the sort of the country of origin or where it's operating. They're separate Googles, those little red balls that get spin off there based on what country the Google entity is operating in. You see Amazon, big, but not the biggest. Looks a little bit. This is supposed to look a little bit like like a planetary system or something. I don't know. And again, some companies like Baidu are just within a certain country. Most others are, doing their best to spread out. So this is almost like the new sort of paradigm. You have nations and governments and states, and then you have these corporations and companies, and that started well before the internet in terms of international companies, and international companies having a lot of power and sway and doing business in lots of parts of the world. But it certainly is true with the internet, particularly the biggies like Google and Facebook. This gives monthly visits in billions, with Google way on top. This is total visits. It's not unique users. It's total visits. Google and YouTube, 1 and 2, then Facebook. Then Baidu in China. Wikipedia is a biggie. You can see them. Twitter, Yahoo still up there. Pornhub, okay. Instagram is a biggie. There's another X videos. There's another biggie. At least they're being honest and including the porn sites. It's so often the case in economics. It's always seemed to me, a little bit I've studied it, that when they look at gross domestic product, GDP, they leave out crime and, seems to me, drug dealing and pornography and prostitution and sex traffic and all those sorts of things. I don't think end up in the GNP, but at least here but they should, because they're part of the economic activity. At least here these things are put out there. Okay. And just to make the point how these large companies are worldwide, the red little jobbies there are locations of Google offices all around the world. And this is, what is this? This is, I think, Facebook users by country in millions. United States, India, Indonesia, Brazil. Of course, you don't see China here because they're not in China. But they've gotten to a lot of countries here. The United States is number 2 to India. Indonesia is right up there. Okay. Just a little bit about WeChat. I'm going to include, I didn't create this slide. It was done by a very talented student I had on my DM 211 class a couple of years ago, who spent some time working in China. And I asked her to put together a little presentation about media in China, and she did this a couple of years ago, so the data are going to be a little old. But WeChat is this very interesting application that's very huge in China, only in China. And in those days, it had over 1 billion users as of Q3 2018, 5th most used app in the world at that point. And you can see the numbers here. So WeChat is a social network. It's for communication. You can also purchase things on it. And it's not just an app on its own. It's got different programs inside the app that can do different things. So WeChat Pay is one of those many programs. As I said, you can even pay with it. So WeChat. Okay, I'm going to stop here and then we'll start on this slide for a minute when we come back.